Whatever.
Yeah, whatever happened. You talk about this being like dream job, big step. What drew you to this job?
Proximity for one, located in the Columbia area. This is where I actually started. I started in 1998 here. My first head job was at C.A. Johnson. It's kind of came full circle. But again, you have resources, you have players, you have everything you need to win championships.
What's your overall excitement level as you have that WK on your chest and to represent the Timberwolves now?
Well, it's kind of like I told you. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of like a kid on Christmas Eve. Wake up and look what's under the tree. So I'm excited to see what all's under the tree and excited to have an opportunity to lead these young men.
You alluded to it, but what is the Victor Floyd philosophy here at Red Bank?
Philosophy is very simple. Football is a microcosm of life. Everything that we do in football and ask these young men to do is what they'll do on a day-to-day job when they become adults. We ask them to be on time, be accountable, be able to handle pressure situations, which they're going to have to do as young men. And I think that everyone should be warranted that opportunity. I was fortunate enough to get that opportunity through football, and it did a lot for me just in general. I was able to play college and stand before you today. There'll be a lot of young men that may not play college football, but it may create a path for them where they can be successful. And a lot of the lifelong lessons they learn through football, they're using in their everyday life. So I'll go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead. You can
No,
finish.
go ahead.
Sorry, Coach. Coach, you're going into a region that the last 3 years have sent two teams to the state finals. How much was that a motivation and in terms of a challenge to go against teams like a Dutch Fork and Irma, or really just Dutch Fork next year since it'll be the back in 5A?
Well, it's exciting. I've had the fortunate opportunity of playing in arguably the toughest conference in the country. When I was coaching in Georgia, I was in the conference with Valdosta Lowndes, Camden County, Colquitt County. That conference alone had won 50 some odd state championships, and I had an opportunity to coach in that conference. And I view this conference being close to that same level with schools like Dutch Fork and others, and looking forward to the opportunity. Excited about it.
You led Chester to its first state title in 2018.
Right.
Is it the same pillars that you used back then that you're using in 2026?
It is. Those are the pillars I've used for 20 some odd years. And young men have taken them right into the world and continue to use them as men. And I will still stand on that because I think it's a value system that will be successful in any situation.
How attractive was your familiarity to this area, Chester, C.A. Johnson, the Carolinas as a whole? How attractive was that to come back where a place you're so familiar with?
Well, that was a big attraction. And like I said, life has kind of came full circle because I started here in the Midlands in '98 as a head coach, and have an opportunity to possibly finish here. That was exciting.
And
Talk
just
about taking that next step with this program. How do you go about sustaining that success, but also putting your own flavor on the team?
Well, I think it starts now with the pillars, those 5 principles I gave you, and being able to sustain those is just being consistent. And a lot of that comes from confidence. Confidence comes from winning. So I think once you get to that point, now you just basically battle the challenges of kids being complacent, which that's the easy part to me, more so than climbing the mountain. The mountain is that's the ultimate.
how tough was it to leave Chester, a place you've been there twice and had so much success at?
It was tough, 15 years, and we worked extremely hard, and I enjoyed my time. A lot of good players, a lot of tough times, a lot of good times. Anytime you spend that much of your life there and your coaching career, I've been coaching 33 years, 15 have been in Chester. So it's almost half, and it was a little tough to leave. But, like I told the young men when I talked to them, we prepare them for opportunities. We have to do the same for ourselves.
Which players do you see are pillars on this team right now?
Well, the quarterback's returning, McKeever, and that's really a huge priority is the QB position from a leadership standpoint and a productivity standpoint. I think he brings a lot back. And you have a handful of guys on defense that I think will return and be like the stalwarts of the program. So that's kind of how I see it.
Coach, you're a state champion, winning head coach. This program has had success, 2023 state runner-up. In your opinion, what will it take to bring White Knoll to state championship level and to win it?
Well, I think more or less it's a mentality. You know, there's a huge mountain that everyone talks about called Dutch Fork. And, you know, you got to have the mentality and believe that you can get over the hump or take the next step. And like I said, that's between the years. That's that piece of toughness I was talking about, mental toughness. We just have to develop that along the way, and I think it'll be fine.
What about your staff? How, process of bringing there, you plan on bringing coaches with you from Chester, some other places? How, trying to get that put together?
Well, Coach Pelham has put together a real good staff, and I think a few guys are going to go with him, but there's still some really good guys left on this staff, and I will be bringing a few guys with me. But I think the basis of the staff, really good staff, and they'll continue to be here.
Any concerns about transfers or how you going to handle that situation? Coming in and
Well,
out?
that's one of those things you can't technically control. I think you do what's right in the program, and it attracts itself. I'm not into going out and getting people's players and that type thing. I think you work with what you got, and, you know, good things that come about from within that.
When people see White Knoll take the field this fall, what can they expect? I mean, not necessarily the scoreboard, but just how
Right,
they'll play,
right.
the attitude, that kind of thing.
I think you'll get a physical, disciplined team that'll put themselves in position to compete every week, regardless of the opponent.